the shit with our hosts, DJ Duss and Bamboo Bam. Let's go.
Oh, what's up? I'm your host, DJ Duss, with my co-host, Bamboo.
What up? What up? What's good, brother?
I don't know what's good, man. I started a new job. I thought I was excited on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm working 12-and-a-half-hour shifts. Not so excited on a Wednesday anymore, you know what I mean?
I can imagine.
I don't know.
It's a long time, man.
I thought it was crazy, you know, and then you get to meet a couple of the people that work there, and then you find out they're in real financial problems. That's why they're doing it. And I'm not in that bad of financial problems.
Well, if for some reason, giving up most of your time think you're going to get you out of financial problem, but it's not. It's going to put you in more fucking financial problem.
How so?
Because you don't have time to fucking take care of the problem that you got. You get what I'm saying?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's weird. It's probably the least physical job I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
But the hours, you know what I mean? You feel like you've been on the road for like fucking 100 hours. You look at it's 1 p.m. You're like, what the fuck? But whatever, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. All right. Everybody, like our Facebook page. You can stream all our live episodes. All our old episodes are on there. And that's at Shooting the Shit. That's press the like button. Follow us, man. You can do the exact same thing on YouTube. Stream all our live episodes. Be a part of the show. Comment, man. Tell us how wrong me and Bam usually are. Just come on and do this. You know what I mean? And that's at Shooting the Shit podcast. Subscribe. Press the notification button. Boom. I'll pop up every time we go live.
There you go.
Once this episode is done, it gets uploaded on all major streaming platforms on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Amazon Music, all that other good stuff. And that's at Shooting the Shit podcast 1. You know I'm tired when I'm the day. See, I fought through that one, I fought through that. Anyway,
I keep telling you we need to do that
I know. You said Sunday. What happened?
I don't remember, man.
Me neither. I'd love to sit here and to let everyone know that I'll blame you, but it's not true though. I don't remember neither, actually. We will record. We'll run over some takes and we'll do that again. We have a cool topic, a cool guest. I got a good friend of mine. We got her on here. You moved over to Canada. She was from Canada, moved over to the States. It's been pretty interesting. Let's get her on here. Moriah, how you doing?
All right. Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good.
Real good.
Wonderful. You're looking great.
I appreciate it.
Yes.
We try. It's the lighting.
Yes. Okay.
Bam got good lighting. Yeah. Bam's been the most upgraded since the whole podcast. Got a nice background.
I love the backdrop.
I thought he was on David Letterman for a minute.
The ring light. Everything's good. Everything's good.
I thought it was good. But we have a cool topic today. It was how to cope being born into racism. But before we get into that, I want people to know you a little bit better. So where were you born and raised, and what's your background?
Who are you referring to, me or Bam?
You. Everyone knows about Bam. Everyone knows about Bam.
Okay, yeah. I was born in Rexton, New Brunswick, in Canada. And I was born to a Native woman and an unknown father.
Okay.
So as a product of a one-night stand, born into a family of 14. So it's kind of looked a little different and brought up very impoverished.
So 14. 14.
Yes.
14. Now, where are you on this? Are you the youngest, the oldest?
I'm in the middle. In the middle. I have 4 older sisters, 3 older brothers, and 6 younger brothers. So
holy shit.
Yeah, I had a lot of responsibility taking care of siblings.
Wow. Bam, you have siblings too, right, Bam?
I got siblings. I got 1 sister and 5 brothers.
Oh my God. I got a whole whopping 0. I'm by myself over here.
Oh, wow.
Whenever you guys want to kick me, I have nothing in common with you guys. You guys can kick me off this anytime you want.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Now, both of you, this because it's a great topic.
Yes.
Growing up, thinking everything's as normal as it gets, friends, family, everything seems fine. Was there any type of racism that you felt through anyone else growing up at all? Bam, what about you?
On a regular, you get sometimes it's very subtle, you know what I mean? But where I grew up in New York and Brooklyn, it was well felt. I'm walking down the street and the cops just pulling over and where you going? Where you coming from?
And how old were you when you first felt
Shit, I'm in my teens, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm in my early teens, I'm going home. Mind your business, leave me the fuck alone. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you do that down there, So, you constantly feel it wherever you go, especially in the States. The States is, they, even if they're doing it and not realizing they're doing it. You get what I'm saying? So I don't want to be really fucking negative and go to bash, right? Because, not everybody is intentionally doing it, but they just don't realize that the system's been set up for them to be able to do this. You get what I'm saying? That's all. So
Yeah, and yourself, Moriah?
Well, with me, it started very, very young. The reason why is because my mother was not, we weren't raised on a reserve. When
Okay,
you're
yes.
raised on a reserve, they have their own sense of community
Yes.
and their own sense of really supporting one another. And they can fight all they want. It's like a family. But when somebody is down and out, everyone else comes to the rescue. And we were brought up in an English community. Then we moved when I was about 10 to a French community. And it was hell. I remember going out and trying to play with some friends down the street. And when you're small, you don't look at color. You look at what kind of games you can play, and
course,
you know
yeah.
you're not even. I don't. For me, I wasn't aware of color when I was small, and to have the parents come out and shoo me off their property and say no, like you're savage, you're squaw, you're this that. You
Oh
can't.
my God.
They wouldn't allow their children to play with me, and
And you
even-
definitely don't understand that at that age,
and
right?
at that age, it's like, well, what's wrong with me? What's wrong?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't feel like I should be any different. And then as I grew older, it just got worse. And I remember my six younger brothers, my siblings, when we moved to a French community, it was a Richibouta village. I remember we could not walk on the side of the road. If a car was coming, not everyone, but many of them, if we walked on the side of the road, I had to take the kids. This is just a country road, and I would shoo them down into the ditch, because they would literally drive over to the side of the road to try to hit us with their vehicle. It was really, really, really bad. Yeah, it was just, it was being, they would drive by. If they saw you, they would try to throw a pop bottle at you or try to hit you with something. And
Sound like the South back in the day.
it's, and you would think that it wouldn't be that way. When I talk to people about what I went through, they say, well, you're too white to have that happen to you. But honest to God, it really goes to show that racism is a frame of mind. It truly is.
100%.
It's just a frame of mind. It has nothing to do with color in a sense, but it has to do with people's brains. Like there's something lacking somewhere. It just doesn't add up.
See, me growing up, it felt like I was the total opposite. I went to a school multicultural. Like I did not like it sounds so it's ignorant in a certain way, but it felt like we conquered racism in my own little school.
You probably did.
But it was only in that school.
Yes.
So when I'm from other people saying, "Oh, I'm like, oh, this shit don't exist anymore." Look at all of us.
No,
It's when you start seeing other people outside, and me and Bam I've witnessed this with Bam on vacation about 6 years ago.
Okay, what happened?
Well, there's a couple situations. There was one situation. Bam is always late, so I was somewhere first, right, Bam? Okay, sounds about right.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there, and we met some people from Calgary, and they were very
Yes.
nice and pleasant. And I was like, "How's it going?" And introduced myself, having a couple of drinks. So he's walking around to try to look for me, and I give him the wave, like, "Hey, I'm right over here."
Yes.
And they turn around and goes, "He's with you?" I said, "Yeah." And then the next words out of their mouth was, "Oh, cool. I'm not racist." That threw me off.
Why would you even have to say that?
Now you made me think that you
Yeah.
actually are, because you're first of all that I'm trying to replay that tone of he's with you. He's with you. I'm like, yeah, we came together, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm not racist. I'm like, fuck, those are two weird little comments that makes me look at you a little different. But
Right.
Bam's a charmer. Bam ends up turning anybody that thinks they're racist 7 days later, and then on a resort, they all end up loving him and stealing his hats and shit.
You could tell who's got true hate in their heart. You get what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
You know,
They can't
as I
hide
got
it.
older, I figured out that situation. But you say it's a state of mind. Me, I find it's a lack of actual being around other people. You
Yes.
get what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Because you can use it as, oh well, there's a lot of black kids that never left the ghetto from the hood. You know what I mean? So when they go somewhere else, their mentality is a certain way. You get what I'm saying? When it comes
Yes.
to white people and right? And it's like you need to get out and see the world and see what's going on, because not everybody's the same, and so on and
Exactly.
so on. And I mean that towards American black folk. Okay, I'm not talking West Indian or whatever, because they're traveled. You see what I'm saying? They left their
Yes.
country to come to the States. They've been somewhere else. They spread out around the world. I'm talking to kids from the United States that's born and raised, that from roots from the South, who
Yes.
haven't left the fucking hood. You know what I mean? Maybe
Yes.
went to North Carolina or South Carolina and figured
Yeah.
out some bullshit down there. But
Yeah.
you got to really see the world for what it is. So
Yes.
it's just mental all over the fucking place, and wherever you go, like you say, you was in the French community. I mean,
Yes.
how often do you think they see Native people?
all the time.
No,
Because
well,
where we were, where I was raised, there was like there were three reserves or two reserves. Mainly one at the time was called Big Cove, and then there was an English community which they call like Upriver, and of course a French community which would be Richefoucauld Village up to Bucktouche. It kept going up to Shediac, and then of course you got to Moncton, and it was just incredible to see the amount of hate and to be called when you're small and to be slapped across the face, punched in the head and everything. And I'm this scrawny little kid and not understanding why this 18-year-old's hitting me because I'm Native. And they just don't believe that you should have been born or whatever. But I will tell you something, over the years, what has changed with, that was just my own
That's right.
upbringing, and it's easy to hate. When you're treated that way, it's easy just to, I couldn't even stand a French accent. I'm serious. It would really rile me up. It really would.
Yeah.
And I had to work on myself. And not everyone was like that. There were some people, they were kind from a distance, or they would look on like they felt bad, but they would not stand up and say, hey, like, stop doing that.
That's right.
They were too afraid. They had this gang mentality, and it was absolutely ridiculous. And I just find that it's sad. However, nowadays, I think the big blessing, and in my own opinion, where I feel racism will one day be much less than what it is when you see people marrying interracial relationships. I think that's a blessing. How can you hate what's yours? In that sense.
Yeah.
I have three children that are Black. And they're beautiful. And I have grandchildren that are blonde and blue-eyed, and I have children that are Black. They're dark. I mean, they're darker than my son and darker than his girl, and beautiful. And it's nice because what happens, it creates diversity. And it's like you said, Joey, when you went to school, you felt like you conquered it because you went to a school where it was very diverse.
Absolutely.
Where color wasn't an issue. And I think what's going to happen over time is when you see like even people from the Middle East, or people are racist they see them and they think, oh my gosh, what are they up to, right? Suspicious.
Yeah.
Asian people, whatever it is, I find is you see more and more people come out and they start marrying into other cultures and colors, It's really hard to hate what's your own. And I think that over the years, especially the last 20 years, I think there's been a big change because of that. And I think it's very positive.
Yeah,
I really do.
No, I see the positively in that. I do.
Yeah.
I do. And me personally, I feel the system needs to change. You know what I mean? And
Explain.
the system needs to change by laws. It's just that simple. The guys who created the laws for one reason and one reason only.
Oh, I remember.
To preserve their race. You get what I'm saying? Oh, well, we're gonna create this, and these laws are still on the books now.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong, the younger generation are starting to notice this. You get what I'm saying? And so as Black people, we're figuring out, this law is fucked up, so we figure our way around the particular law. You understand? They change the law again. But it's getting to the point where everybody's starting to notice, hey, stop changing the fucking law, you asshole, because you're being a prick. And it's happening to everybody, not just, Black, Chinese, so on and so on. So once that change, we'll be in a better position for the interracial marriage and all of that and everything to be better off, right? The gays and whatever, So, but the problem with that is the people that's in power are grooming their kids to take their place. You understand what I'm saying? That's the problem. It's always been so-and-so, my son took his place as congressman, or do you know what I mean? And long as you got your blood sitting in that seat that you just gave up, you can always dictate from the back of the room. You get what I'm saying?
Well, unfortunately, that's what's been happening for eons of time in government, all around the world. It's not just here; it's all over.
Yeah.
And it needs to change.
It does, and I find it is changing over time. You see a difference because if you look who's in government in Canada and also in the United States, for instance, something had to change in order for Barack Obama to get in. Like we voted for him.
Well,
and something had to change. I mean, man, he got in there and they gave him a hard time, just like I guess anyone when you're in office and stuff. And I want to turn this political when it's racism, but the fact that we got to a part in history where we can say, yes, this is how far we came.
Yeah.
It really shows how far we can go. And I mean, that's keeping it positive. And as far as change goes, I think change starts at home.
That was my
Laws are
next
great.
question. Yeah, that
Laws
was my
are
next
great.
question.
My opinion is it starts at home. My children being raised, I'm not black. I'm like, even here, people are coming up to me and say, "What are you? What are you?" They think I'm Hispanic or something. They don't really
Yeah,
know.
I get that too.
Yeah, like, what's your nationality?
Yeah.
And but my children, they're black and they're beautiful, and they were raised to be good people. They were raised to give, to contribute to society. They were raised that there's going to be assholes out there.
Yeah.
Don't, you already have an asshole. You don't need other ones. Just, you have your own personal one and you use it for a purpose. It's to defecate, is to get things out of you. You don't want stuff coming into you that's negative.
Right.
And I experienced racism in my own family. I mean, my own mother, she was calling my three kids the N-word.
So even
See?
when she
And
knows what you went through,
And she's
as-
native, and she was.
Oh,
Whoa, where'd she go?
why is when everything gets good?
I know, right?
Here it goes to show
Yeah.
it's still there. Like, it is still there. And my children were raised to still respect her as the grandmother and stuff. And over time, I think she really got to not be so afraid. And a lot of people, I find out too, my mother has not been around a lot of people that are black. So right away, there's a fear. But you know what? There's been a lot of white people she's not been around either. And it doesn't mean they're all nice. And it doesn't mean
That's
all Native
facts.
people are nice either. It
That's
has
facts,
to do
yeah.
with the person. So when it comes to that, like with my sons, I've always taught them, be the best that you can be.
Yeah.
If you're going to go stir shit, expect shit to happen. You're not going to walk around like you're mighty over everyone. Your knees are going to be buckled. Someone's going to put you in your place. That's just normal, but be humble and reach out, help people when you can. And they're strong. They're strong men. They've got amazing minds. They're kind. And when they look at people, they look at the person. They look at in their eyes and their heart. I don't see my sons ever talking about color. They don't.
Did you ever go through another situations besides your mom where you walked around with your sons and people probably gave you a look? Have
Yes.
You ever, yeah.
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
one
That's gonna
guy
get
when
the
my
look.
kids were small come up to me, and I went to the post office, and I had the three little guys with me, and this guy came up to me, he says, "That's so nice." And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "What is?" He says, "Oh, it's so nice that you adopted them, because they're really,
Wow.
that you reached out and you adopted them. It's so nice." And I said, "Sir," I said, "all three came from my vagina."
Yeah.
He just gave me a look, and he just kept on going. What is he going to say? And that was it. I mean, it's blunt. It can't be any more blunt than
You have
that.
to
And
be.
honestly, you have to be sometimes. And on top of that, it's just, my children have a nice diverse group of friends, different colors, different backgrounds, just different incomes, different whatever it is. It's very, very diverse. And I think it starts at home. You train them when they're small. And when they grow older, they look out for like-minded things, and it kind of squishes out all the other stuff. And these little ones, when they grow up, they're going to be the ones who are going to take office. They're going to be one that's going to run for these other
Well, see,
positions.
And okay, like you said, he's going to be the one to take office and so on and so on.
Yeah.
But how is that going to happen when, per se, say you're not an office official? You get what I'm saying? You can't train them how to take office if you're not there yourself. All the people that's in office are training their kids to be in office. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, the
Yeah.
system, like I said, it goes back to the system. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all the kids that's fucked up and racist or whatever the case may be. Like you said, it starts at home. What do you
Yes.
think he's learning at home? You get what I'm saying? He's learning at home that we are this and they are that and da-da-da. And right there, once you put that divide in their head, they're
Yes.
gonna walk around the planet thinking that they're better than other people and so on and so on. So they're gonna look at where their father was and point in their life and be like, I need to be to this point so I can be better than everybody else around me. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
it's hard to do that when someone else is sitting there playing Monopoly with the board, with pretty much with your race. Like, it doesn't matter what race it is, they play Monopoly
Yes.
with it. Like, we're just gonna put them all over there. You know what I mean? We're
Yes.
gonna put them all over here. We're gonna put them all over there. And yeah, okay, we got a black president, no problem. We made enough noise where it had to fucking happen. Sooner or fucking later, it was gonna happen regardless. I think to be honest with you, between Trump and Hillary, I think Hillary should have won. Personally, that's my personal opinion.
Why?
You know what I mean?
Ugh.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, why?
Yeah.
Why- Don't say.
Well,
I
I went to
prefer.
see her. Yeah, it's a personal. It's just a
No,
personal
no, no.
preference.
I'm not trying to make
Yeah.
it politics.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just,
But why?
Yeah.
Why would you say you
you
prefer?
know, I've always felt the lady character stood for something. You understand what I'm saying? Because everybody always look at it as politics. You know, blah, 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 blah. But if you look at her life and what she endured, shows me that if she can endure this in life as a person, what you think she's gonna do for the country? You know what I mean? She's gonna endure. She's going. You know, and that's what made me think. You know, instead
No.
of you know
No,
instead
because
of putting
she's not
this,
that person anymore.
see, she's always gonna be that person. But you know, but the one they put in charge, does he care? All he cares about his numbers, and you know, I'll put you over there. I don't care. You know what I mean? So it's just you really got to ask yourself. You know, that's what makes the difference between Canada and the United States.
Now,
The politicians here actually care.
Do you think
They-
so?
Oh yeah, they care.
Oh my gosh, I think maybe I was looking at it from a different hill or something.
I don't know.
They
Because
care.
it's like as growing up as being caught in the cracks between native and white. I learned that nobody really cares. You have to make something happen. You got to get proactive, and you have to get out there and dig deep, and you got to fight. You got to. I don't mean burn buildings and you know beat up people or anything, but you have to be smart. Do your homework and raise a generation that actually cares, that looks at diversity. And we're talking about racism here, that looks at diversity and not. I love people that are smart. I don't care what color they are. When they're smart, I love people that are mouthy too. Like they're really mouthy, got an attitude. I'm attracted to people like I really am, because I'm thinking they got that way for a reason. They had to go through something that got them there. I don't care what color they are. I just found who my father was in September, and I never met him. He's in Canada. He lives in Moncton, and I talk to him almost every night on the phone. And I'm telling you, he's one stubborn SOB because and now I understand where I get my stubbornness too from, right?
Okay,
He's very outspoken and everything. And I realized I didn't have to be raised by him to inherit certain traits.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like somebody that's strong-minded. I like someone that's going to give you a run for their money and make you question yourself. I don't care who you are, but I don't think it should be based on what you look like, let's reverse this. Just because someone's black and you're saying, oh my gosh, there's racism, we have to listen to the air. I'm sorry, but if you're a friggin' asshole, and this is what I tell my kids, I'm not going to give you the time of the day because you're an asshole. And I'm not going to give my time for you when you're like the stuff that I see going on, like here, where they're burning buildings or doing that could be my grandfather's business. It could be my son's business and stuff. You can make a statement without getting violent and without doing, burning cities down. It's
See, Bam disagrees with
and
you.
I'll give you an example.
I agree with you.
He
though.
can, and I'll give you an example. Martin Luther King, they went through hell. He made more of a dent, more of a movement globally than what's going on right now. Because right now it's like all smashed. Let's get attention. You know what's going to be buried under the rug, and over time, because it's involved with violence and things like that.
It's negative.
You can. I will sit any day and I'll listen to someone who has a discussion with me. But you come bust up my house and you think I'm going to have a discussion with you?
Nope.
No. Sorry, my ears got turned off.
I hear where you're coming from if you're trying to have a conversation with someone who's willing to have a conversation. You get what I'm saying? Where most people in the States are not willing to have that conversation. You understand?
So burning down the building is the
will
road to
get
go.
your fucking attention. You understand what I'm saying?
But
when
it doesn't happen.
But see, that's my point. It's been going on so long. You see what I'm saying? You think we want to burn? You think black people want to burn things down?
I don't know. I
think
wasn't
we did?
interviewing them.
Like,
If
I mean,
they
really
didn't, they
interesting.
wouldn't. If
You know,
they didn't want to burn
do you
something
think-
down, they wouldn't burn it down.
So like you said, okay, so with all the violence that's been projected onto us, it's okay. You get what I'm saying? Hey, stop killing us. We're trying to have this conversation with you, but you're still not doing anything. You get what I'm saying? So guess what? I'm going to burn your fucking house down. Now you're going to understand you.
But it wasn't their house they burned down. It's all these people who took their lives and their money, life savings, and building businesses.
But like you said, you got all these people sitting there not seeing nothing either.
Bam, I'll give you an example
You
where
understand
I
what I'm
think
saying?
I'll
Like,
give you
A lot of
you-
people say stuff. A lot of people were. I was in disagreement over what happened, but I
Yeah.
didn't feel the need to. But I spoke up. I used my voice.
Okay,
And,
but for centuries, decades, nothing. You get what I'm saying? It had to get to this point where people go, "Whoa, that
no.
shit is fucked up." You
No.
get what I'm saying? And it shouldn't have got this far.
Bam, I'm gonna give you Bam. I'll give you an
From
example.
Martin Luther King, like you said, from Martin Luther King, you don't think they should have? It should have been relaxed from back then. They went through hell. You said it.
Mm-hmm.
it's still going through hell.
There you go.
It's still going through hell, and that's what I'm saying. It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress,
Bam.
and you know. Sorry,
Okay,
Dwayne.
listen, no worries. I'm gonna give you an example of why I think this was wrong. Okay,
Right.
we bounce in nightclubs, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I witnessed one of the biggest fights that ever happened.
All right.
Two guys went at it. They threw bottles at each other.
Okay.
Bottles are getting thrown. I saw a group of people over there, and over there, throwing bottles too. And I looked at them, and you know what they said? Fuck it. They weren't even mad at these two, but because everyone else was doing it, it was a fuck it moment. So if one really passionate person is burning down some shit, the other one behind him might say, fuck it, let's burn this one out too. So that's where it comes all negative.
Yeah. See,
The
okay.
statement gets washed
The
up
message,
now.
the message
The-
that
the-
they were trying to impart when they did that got lost in the violence,
Yes.
and that's what pissed me off. It's like, what was the message? What was his name? What were they? It's hard to think of somebody's name when you're watching a whole
And when you see
city burn
people
down.
crying about their businesses being fucked up,
Yeah,
then you feel for
and
them.
they're innocent. They're
Yes.
innocent. And that's the part that hurts
See,
me.
and
I like
when you
yeah,
say that
go
they're
ahead.
innocent, you go, "Oh, the business burnt down. They're innocent." But let me ask you, how many black people you think was working for them?
Well, I saw one of those
That-
black
you
owner.
understand what I'm saying? You get it? You see what I'm saying?
no.
It was
No,
a black
but
neighborhood, so I would say
well,
90% of the people working
do you
there would
really
probably
think?
be black.
Do you really think black people own stuff in the hood? They do not.
Yes,
They do
interviewed
not.
the people. They earned well.
Yeah, I do remember
Where I
that.
was looking at where they were doing this, they were interviewing people, and they were black that owned the business, and they were saying how they saved up all their lives for these. You know, and of course, there's other people who owned them too, but the majority that I saw, they were black, and that's what really bothered me more than anything. Is like, why would you do that to you?
Well,
You know, it's like me getting mad at my neighbor and I'm going to kick my kid in the head. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. That's just
know,
my opinion, you know?
I sometimes I think we need to get to that point to get this attention because
To get a message.
Yeah, because it's not even the message; it's the attention. You understand? We need this goddamn attention because if we don't do it, it's going to get put under the fucking rug. You get what I'm saying?
But when it gets too
Everything.
negative, it gets looked at a different
It's
angle.
not negative. And
Yeah.
back to what you're saying about the guys in the club. Okay, two guys are fighting and people are just throwing. They're just having fun, just being assholes.
So when there's people burning down buildings, you don't tell me there's a group. You don't tell me there's a group of idiots trying to fucking loot just for being looters.
That's just an asshole thing. But you got to look at all.
But there's
the
a lot of
people-
assholes out there.
Hold on. But you talk about people burning down the building. Now you're trying to tell me the people that's helping these guys burn down buildings haven't went through the situation that the reason why he's burning down the building. You see what I'm saying?
But that's an assumption that you're making yourself.
But
I
no,
see what you're saying.
but you know what I'm
It is
saying? You for you to join into something most of the time, especially for us. I know where you're coming from, bro. You know what I mean? Let's do what we got to do. You know, saying it right or wrong? Nah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they can relate. You see what I'm saying? But this
Yes.
throwing bottles in the fucking bar, that's
But
just
it
idiotic,
just shows there's but there's always
Yeah.
a group of stupids behind any madness or any method
Yes,
that's gonna join but do something dumb too.
I agree.
So if it's
And
gonna be like, let's break
I
these windows,
agree.
these ones are like, I'm actually mad. These motherfuckers are like, break this window because I want to grab this.
Yes,
Yeah.
I get it.
So it's
I
all
get- I
negative
get
at the end of the day.
It is
Yeah.
all negative, but it was all negative that got it to that point.
Yes.
And that's what people keep forgetting.
I've always been
they always want to point out what happened after the fact. Won't you stay
Yeah.
focused on what happened? Because if you stayed focused on what happened, you wouldn't get that after effect.
Yeah, but I've never been I've been a
know?
firm believer that you can't fight ignorance with ignorance.
That's the
Because you
only-
have to let them be ignorant by themselves over there.
Yeah, but it
And
does
yeah.
nothing. You get what
In
I'm saying? It does
contrast,
nothing.
Yeah. In contrast with Martin Luther King, what he did, he fought ignorance with knowledge and with power. He told people, don't fight back. Don't do this. Have sit-ins. We're going to be peaceful. They were still persecuted. But you know what happened? it got the attention of the world. Everyone came. So they weren't, it wasn't this big negative cloud over top of it.
No, there wasn't.
Which it was like, what
They
the
tried
hell
to
is
put it
wrong
at
with
first,
these
Bam,
people?
but
And it's still something that's in progress or whatever.
I don't
and
know
it's,
how you can't say it wasn't a negative situation.
what wasn't a negative situation?
Him having sit-ins, it was a negative situation because he was having sit-ins and they was getting the
No.
dogs. They was getting dogs sent
I'm
on
not.
them. They was
I said they were persecuted.
You get what I'm saying? So the whole thing, even I'm having a peaceful sitting, and it still became a damn riot. You get what I'm saying?
It became a riot, but what it did, it really showed the problem. It had an opportunity when you get somebody that's there and he's encouraging people, be calm, be peaceful, be this, and we're all one under God. That's his thing. We're brothers and sisters. Here's these clowns, these racist assholes, bringing in dogs, fire hoses, spraying them, doing everything. Who look bad there?
Yeah, look bad, and then turn around, change the law, and put it under the rug.
It was never put under the rug because
dude,
today.
why are we talking about it right now, though? If it was put under the rug, we
We're
wouldn't.
talking about it. For us to
it
be
was
able
put
to
under
have
the
this,
rug.
it's taught in schools. What he did is actually taught in schools. It is.
We're talking
I
about it
learned in
right now.
school.
Think about it.
We're talking about it right now, and and I'm looking at it like that's very powerful.
We're talking about it now because
They've made movies.
we're talking about it now because the negativity from that era just resurfaced.
It resurfaced.
Yeah.
Well, if you go into a room and it's dark, and you have a flashlight, the whole room's black until you shine a light in that corner. Someone just shone a light in that corner, but if you want to do that, someone can shine a light on what Hispanics are suffering from. You can shine a light in a room about what Native people. You want to talk about people being persecuted for centuries?
I totally agree.
Look at the history of the Native people. And speaking of racism,
I totally agree.
He has agreed with this. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I totally agree. Right now, I got a problem with the fishing thing up here. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And personally,
It's
they went
just
made
horrible.
some stupid treaty. You can fish lively with this time, and we can fish this time, and then now they're complaining. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason why you did that is for you. You understand? And now that it's coming back to bite you in the ass, you want to complain about it. You get what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. Also, we have to understand another thing. Have you ever thought of a time in history where government was really there for the people?
No.
No, they was
No.
never there for the people.
They never. All the government is one body finding a way to power over people they consider underneath them, the masses, and whatever it takes to cause division, unity, whatever. They have more power than we think. So if it suits them to divide, they're going to divide.
Okay.
If it suits them to unite somewhere, they're going to try to unite, but it's always for the good of the people that's up above us. And that's why I say the grassroots, who we are, this is where it starts as mothers, as fathers at home. Teach your children what diversity means. Expose them to other cultures. Do this.
And we're a long way from back then. I definitely agree with you there. We did make some progress and so on and so on. But now it's beyond that point. Now it's to the point where these laws are in place and they're screwing us. You get what I'm saying? They are screwing us. I mean,
Changes still have to be made.
Perfect example of a systematic bullshit law. Which call it one, Biden wins. Not making it political, Biden wins, but the state of Georgia turns around and changes the law for voting. Why?
How did they change?
Change the law.
What did they do? They just asked it. Isn't the only thing they asked is that they wanted people to have ID when they vote?
No.
Yeah,
in the state of Georgia, if you're standing in line to vote and I come over and hand you a bottle of water, I can get arrested.
While you're voting or in line for
if
voting?
she's in line, if she's in line to vote, and me, looking at her and saying, fuck, she's been standing out here, it's fucking hot as hell in Georgia. You get what I'm saying? Here's a bottle of water. You know what I mean? I can get arrested for it.
Man, this better not be some of your fake
I
news
never
stuff.
heard of that.
Are you kidding me? Half of the states are putting these laws into place. They're doing this. Look
But
it
how
up
does it
right
benefit
now.
anybody? So what do they make them wait outside so they don't
How does
vote?
How does it benefit?
Yeah.
Yes, that's my point.
Yeah.
It deters you from voting. Because now they're changing where they're putting the polls and in polling stations and so on. Because if you think about it, the minority sections of let's say Georgia, there's not a lot of polling stations. You get what I mean? So the lineups are going to be longer. You're going to be out there longer. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So you're going to be hot. You're going to be this. So here, Mom, hey, here's a bottle of water. I can get arrested for giving my mother a bottle of water while she's standing in line to vote. That is crazy.
How about if you think you might be in a long lineup, you take a bottle of water with you?
Yeah.
I know if I go
That-
somewhere and I know there's going to be a lineup, I
But
just
that's
kind
fine.
of put
But
what I
that-
need and take
but
it with me. It's called being responsible.
That's fine, but still,
Yeah.
your
been more
son,
creative.
or
Yeah.
whoever should be able to give you a bottle of water. It's not a crime to
Yeah.
worry about someone else's well-being. You get what I'm saying? Like you said, we all human. We're supposed to care for each other, but it's to the point where they're making it where we can't even care for each other. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I never
That's-
heard of that. That
Neither
you
have I.
you can't
I'm
you can't. If
te-
somebody's
look-
waiting in a lineup to vote, no one can bring somebody a bottle of water.
Yep,
I'm gonna
look
have
it
to
up.
check that out.
Look
That's
it up.
crazy. That's
It's-
insane.
And they passed a law behind closed doors. You get what I'm saying? Nobody was there to say, "Hey, stop that bullshit." You get what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
it's not right. You know what I mean? And this is the things of them trying to stay in power. Oh,
From
shit,
what I
well,
understood, it was voter ID that they were asking
Yes.
that people that it's important to have voter ID, which it
I
is.
agree.
When in
I agree.
Canada, I can't vote if I don't have my ID.
That's right.
I
mean,
agree.
that's
and I
if you can go to a liquor store and you need ID, and you can go to a bank and they ask ID, I'm not going to sit there and say you're being racist because
And-
you asked for my ID. It's just part of living.
I totally get that.
and I
for
and I
sure.
Yeah.
totally agree.
Yeah.
Here's another law that's been on the books for a while that a lot of people don't know. You know, if you get locked up for a felony, you don't have the right. You
That's
don't have
right.
the right to vote.
Yeah,
Yes, that's right.
that's right.
That's
Okay.
right. Yeah, you lose
So-
that right.
Okay, so how is it that I was born in this country? You understand? Made a crime. I'm still born in this country. My rights should never be infringed on ever.
I
You
see that.
understand?
Yeah, I get
Someone just said, "Hey, because you did that, you can't do this." Why are you doing that? And then when you do the statistics, then ask yourself, how many people of my race, I should say, is locked up now for felony
Yeah.
charges? You get what I'm saying? These
Yeah.
are weird little things that they put in place, and these are obstacles. Like you said, okay, let's be smart. Let's try not to go to jail. Let's this, and and you got to deal with all these things that's coming at you. And
Yeah.
you got these guys sitting there constantly changing, and that's why I say it's like, I get it. At home, try to teach kids not to be fucked up and whatever the case may
Yeah.
be. I agree, 110%. But then you still got these people out there making it just that much harder, undermining what you're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yep,
You could tell your
I
child to
agree.
be, you could tell your child to be the best
Everything.
person all he want, but you telling me you not worried if your kid get behind the wheel of a car and get pulled over?
Well, that has
Good
happened.
question. Yeah.
You-
That
you-
has
you-
happened.
You understand what I'm saying?
And they
The
got
fact that
pulled over.
The fact that you worried about it shouldn't even be there.
Yeah, but I
You
worry
see
too,
what I'm
though.
saying? It shouldn't.
I wasn't worried though.
Okay.
I
know.
wasn't worried. I wasn't. I just said it has happened. Like they got pulled over. I got pulled over many times for speeding. But I wasn't. I wasn't worried because I know that my children handle themselves well. I know there's assholes out there. I've had to deal with asshole police officers before, but I also dealt with some pretty amazing police officers
Oh
too.
no!
And
I'm not.
you know
knocking
what
the
I'm saying?
police.
But my children, I have confidence in my children that if they're around some asshole, how they're raised is like, don't fight them now, fight them in a court
Yeah. Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Right.
Fight in a court later, because that's a right you do have. But I'm not afraid if they get pulled over, if they get stopped. I'm just not, because I don't believe. I'm not saying that. I know there's some people that should not be police officers, just like there's some doctors
yeah,
who should not be a
100%.
doctor because of malpractice. People die by the thousands every
Oh,
year
yeah.
because of malpractice. And they should never be, some people should never be doctors because they have people's lives in their hand. It's the same thing as a police officer. There's some people should never, ever do that. They have issues. They appear something's wrong. They should never have done it. But at the same time, I have confidence that a high percentage are there doing their job very well, and that they will treat my children well if they pull them over. If they don't treat them well, my children will not at the time go and get in their face or anything, but it will be handled later.
Interesting.
There's
I
a
hear-
time.
I hear-
There's
I
a
hear-
there's
I
a
hear-
time.
I
It's
hear-
like I'm not going to teach my children if they're confronted by a confrontational police officer is obviously not got his marbles.
Yeah.
And I tell my kid, fight back, try to run, hit him, take his
No.
gun, try to run, and see how you're going to do. I mean,
No,
what parent's going to
that's-
teach your children to do that? It's like,
that's not even the case. I mean,
it is a case in a lot of these places. There's just stuff going on. It's like, don't just
okay. So
fight
here-
later. Live now, fight later.
you got a guy who do not live in your neighborhood, do
Yes.
not know you,
Okay.
pulling you over and judging you right off the back.
Okay.
I've
get
had
what
that
I'm saying?
happen. I've had that happen.
Just judge you right off the back. And this is every cop that's in your neighborhood. Do not live in your neighborhood. You know, as
Yeah.
we interviewed a cop before,
Yes,
and
we did.
he
Yes.
made this point. There's no community policing anymore. There is
Yeah.
nobody, because if you was community policing and you lived in a neighborhood and you pull somebody
You
over,
would know who they are.
you know
You
who
know
they
them.
are, and
Yeah.
the situation will be.
It calms down. It calms right
You
down.
understand? Where you got a guy who's getting out of his
Yeah.
car, and the first thing he does is put his hand on his gun.
Yeah.
White, black, purple, or green. The whole precinct, the whole system, the first thing they do is put their hand on their gun.
I've experienced that.
You know,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and,
I'm a girl, and I've experienced that where I've stopped and,
that-
the police came over walking, and he's got his hand down on
Yeah.
like just on the thing. I don't mind that. I think it's part of their training. Now,
that's not right training.
But if they pulled their gun out and they put it on my head while they pulled me over, that would be a whole other issue. But for them to walk, and I noticed they walk and they just have their hand back on the tip of the top of the handle of their gun. That doesn't offend me. It doesn't scare me.
Well,
My
it
kids aren't
offends
scared
me.
of that.
It
Yeah,
offends
it's
me.
okay.
It scares me. You understand?
Yeah.
Because
I
can
do
honestly say,
understand.
between me and you, I've been on both sides of the gun. You understand? I
Yeah.
felt the repercussions of it, and I
Yeah.
felt the repercussions of doing what I need to do. You understand?
Yeah.
I felt it. I understand it, and like I said, the fact that someone is coming at you with put that mentality of confrontational and
Yes.
their hand on their gun. That's a
Yes.
bad combination. You understand what I'm
Yes,
saying?
I do.
You know?
I get it. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely understand.
and like I said, I'm
Yeah.
not bagging the police. I'm not.
No, you
No, I
never
know
have.
you're not.
You never have.
You
I
need.
don't believe you are
We
at
need
all.
them. We
But
need them.
there needs to be some reforms there, some
And that's all.
reformations
And
there.
that's my point. That's all I'm saying.
Just to bring it down, and like you said, I think a good start is community policing, where there's a trust. There has to be a certain kind
Absolutely.
of trust there, and I think that makes a big difference. But as
Right.
far as being manhandled by the police, I have been in the past.
Really?
I have been. I went out one time. I went to a bar with my friend. We were in Miramichi, and I went out. She was doing shots, and she ran out of money. So I said, "I'll run out." And I had my money hidden under the seat of my car.
Yeah.
So I went, was a van actually. I ran out to go get it, and when I got there, all of a sudden behind me, all I felt was somebody take me by the back, my back, put me in the front, and put my face right down on the hood of the van, and I'm kind of there, and I realize it's a police. He's got his dick on my ass,
Yeah.
rubbing. You know what I mean? Like it
Yep.
shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just stopped. I didn't react,
Wow.
and I said, "Is there a problem?" And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I came to get some money." And he just held me there. I said, "Do you mind letting me go?"
Yeah.
And he just held me there, and he didn't know how to handle it because I didn't react. I didn't react. I just thought, no, I'm not going to. I'm not going
Okay.
to give him that.
Now,
And he did. He ended up, believe me, he ended up apologizing to me actually like 2-3 weeks later. He told me he was sorry, and I just said yes, and I just kept going, and I ignored it. But it's
Understandable.
intimidating. It's intimidating
And-
to have that.
now, see, in that scenario, he's totally wrong. For one,
Yeah.
he has no right to touch you.
Yeah.
Period. You in
Yeah.
your car.
There was no warning. There was no warning. There was
the
nothing.
fact that he grabbed you and pulled you out, if you would have reacted, let's just say you would have
Mm-hmm.
reacted, and maybe you had a gun in your hand, you reacted and shot him.
Yeah.
That is literally self-defense because he came
Yeah.
from behind you, and
Yeah.
he got to police. Every police have to announce themselves. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah, there was
Police,
no
freeze.
announcement.
Nothing. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So right there is this person. I'm not going to say the police force, but I'm saying this person
Yes.
is
Yeah.
taking his
Yeah.
job and making his own law. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? At this
Yeah,
point,
100%.
You see what I'm saying? And that's been going on to the point where another cop is not telling, "Hey, yo, bro, That's not right. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
It goes back to the fact of there's a lot of bullshit going on, and a lot of people not saying nothing about it. Guess what?
Yeah.
We got to make people say something about it. And
And not burn anything down, right?
if it takes to burn something down to get us to talk about it,
No.
we won. You get what I'm saying? Because
No.
now we're talking about it. You know what I mean? That's
Well,
just the
I've
way
been
I look at it.
talking about it. I've been talking about it all along, actually, and
You know,
I
and
feel
it's good talk.
it, and I feel it's good. And again, I'll always go back to the fact that if we strive towards diversity, and that's on all sides, because I see where, like, growing up Native, like in a Native community, they're very suspicious of people who are not Native. They're just very, very suspicious. They all
And I
watch
get
them from
that.
a distance, and
Yeah.
they're you know. And then also I see in the Black communities with my friends, it's like the same thing. They're
Oh, yeah.
suspicious. Somebody comes around and they're like, and they'll like, some of my friends, they'll have somebody sized up in 2 seconds flat. They got them sized upside down, inside out, you
Real
know,
quick.
and real quick, because they went through life and they learned things. And my thinking is, I think, I don't know, my ex, he's from Halifax. He was born in Halifax, my kid's dad. And I asked him, I said, where was it? I said, how did racism, like, how did you live that? How did you cope with this? And I said, is it something like, were people more racist against you as you were educated? Or was it a black thing? What, like a white thing? What was it? And he told me, he said, sometimes, he said, it's there. He said, you feel it because you can tell by the way people look at you. He says, sometimes, he said, people will look at him and they act like they're scared of him.
Really?
Yeah, he said, because he's Black. And it's like, he said, right away, you can see it. And he said, where he grew up, he was in an orphanage. And being in an orphanage, his little friends, like, they were, they're white, they're Native, they're Black, they're mixed. And he said, he grew up, and he said, during a time where there was these big wars between the white and the Blacks in Halifax. I mean, they were warring really bad. And he said, and it also, because the adults were doing it, the children were doing it. And he said he remembered on his street there was these friends, they're black friends of his, of course, and they were going after a white boy, but it was a friend of his. And he stood up, and he said he stood in front of the boy, and he said, you touch him, you're going through me.
There you go.
That right there is a lesson. That's a lesson, and that's how it should work in reverse. It should work that way with people who are
I agree.
Asian, Hispanic, I don't care what it is. It's character. It's character.
The Asian thing, it's been bugging me a little bit, because I'm like, I see the little videos and then I'm seeing my people attacking Asians. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm getting upset about it, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like, trying to hit ladies and punching people and slashing on people. I'm like,
but it's
what's
not all Black people that do that. I mean,
no, it's not all. But I'm just
obviously
saying,
that guy who is doing that needs an attitude adjustment. But
The guy that's burning down the buildings.
I'm only speaking on my people on that behalf. Because some of my people are ignorant like a motherfucker at times. You know what I mean? Like, we just don't give a fuck and just wild out. You know what I mean?
You told me a story about these gnomes that were, and you thought they were racist. Can you tell me about
all right.
I want to hear this.
Yes.
I wanna hear this.
Okay, I moved to Nova Scotia. Okay. I moved to Nova Scotia. I'm living with my wife.
You have to understand he's telling me this, that he's pissed off, all right?
Okay, I'm wound up. I'm wound up about it, right? Okay, because this is being part of ignorance if you don't know what's going on, right? So keep that in mind, right? So I'm here. I'm coming from the States, so my mentality changed because I used to live in Canada. I went back home, so as soon as I got back home, my mentality changed. So when I got back, I'm still on that. I'm with my wife. Now, I'm gonna say my wife's dad is not politically correct. Okay, we're gonna put it that way. Okay, he's old school. He's one of those blunt motherfuckers. He'll sit there and say some shit. He'll say some shit to you. You get what I'm saying?
I like that.
Now, me being older, I've been through a certain amount of. I can weed it out. You know what I mean? This younger generation nowadays, he got hurt. You understand what I'm saying? He got hurt right off the bat. So he see little things, and he happens to be talking to my wife and going, "Hey, did you show him the little black gnome down the road there? The little black guy sitting on the thing there. What the fuck? What are you talking about? Little black guy sitting on the thing?" So I'm driving with my wife, and she's driving by. And she goes, "Look." She goes, "Look." Right. So they got these little
garden gnomes.
They're not gnomes. They are
Gargoyles?
What are those little funny things called?
Are they gargoyles?
The little fishy guys.
They're
What are they called again?
They're like little people.
They sit on
like
the wells.
statues, like.
Lawn jockeys. Yeah. Yeah, lawn jockey. Look at your face. You see? Your face right there got your
What's
face.
a lawn jockey?
Yeah. Oh, you see? Lawn
I don't
jockeys.
even know what that is.
It's kind of like it's a statue that here everybody's got wells mostly, you know what I mean, and it sits on the wells like a little fisherman looking like he's fishing.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So
Oh, yes.
there's a black one up the road sitting on the
Okay.
well, and her father mentions it. I see.
Okay.
I said, look at this motherfucking little gnome. I'm insulted now. You understand
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like I'm ready to take the gnome, take the little thing, and make it a traveling fucking gnome. I'm ready to send shit to Russia, take pictures. I'm ready to send it to fucking Ottawa, Vancouver. I'm ready to send it around the world to all my friends and say, take a picture of this shit, put it on Facebook. Whoever owns it gonna be pissed. This is what I think.
He's telling me this. He is telling me this too.
I'm wound the fuck up. So I said, wait a minute. Let me look into what this is about.
Yeah, but how long did you feel like this before you technically looked
About
into
3 weeks, almost a month. Okay. Good thing I didn't take it.
Know. What did you find out? I'm curious.
Okay, for 3 weeks, for about a month, I was wound up over this thing. I kept saying, I'm going to steal it. I'm waiting for it to get dark. I'm going to drive up my New York plates, jump out, grab it. Fuck it. I don't care. So So I looked it up. And it turns out these things are used for the Underground Railroad. Okay. They are signs for safe places.
Place. It's a safe place.
A safe place to eat.
He wants to attack these people now.
I'm ready to go knock on the door and be like, what the fuck is this about? This and this. But once I found out what it is, now I'm ready to go knock on the door and shake the man's hand. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But he might not even really truly know what it's about. He just might got it out there just to irritate people. You understand what I'm saying?
You don't know.
I don't know it too.
That what they talk about assuming, right? Assuming.
That's exactly it.
And there you go. And that's what has been going. So, even if he don't know and he think he's irritating someone, I'm laughing at him because he truly don't know what it really means. You know what I mean? Because one day he have a whole bunch of black people showing up at his house and he'd be like, what the fuck you doing here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it just drives, it makes me laugh when, if you're not educated on things, look things up before you react.
I love it because it was bitter.
I'm happy that you shared that. I'm really happy you shared that because I heard about different things they did, like for safe places during the Underground Railroad, what they did.
And these things are not publicized and not told about. You know what I mean? And they should be. They should be on the forefront of, this is what happened. Black people should know about this, right? And
100%.
And then they got another thing, I think in Newfoundland, they call it mummering, right? People, I think it's around, I don't know if it's Halloween, but sometime of the year, people go around and they sing and they invite people in and you drink and, and you try to figure out, you try to figure out who they are. But here's the thing. They showing up at your fucking house with hoods on and masks and shit. Yeah, you see your face, Joe? Okay. When I heard about it, I'm like, they can't be coming up here. I'm going to be screaming, go get the rifle because I don't know what's going on. You get what I'm saying? But it's a tradition up here, right? So, it's like, it's a good time, You could tell who it is. Who's that? You know what I mean? Who's singing behind it? And if you figure it out, to get a drink or whatever. And I think it's cool, but it's good
times.
It'll freak somebody from the South to move up here and someone come knocking on their fucking door thinking it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
With a hood on of any kind. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
I think the singing, if the singing was not like a chant, but if it was singing, I think that I would feel safe. But if somebody came and you're chanting at my door, I don't care what color I am, I'm going to freak out.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I'm a little growing when you've been picked out for whatever reason. I don't care who you are. When you're small, and you've been put down for whatever reason, it creates a sensitivity inside of you. And on top of that, I think the blessing in it is I can see it in other people. I can recognize it. I've gone up to people that are sorry for the camera. I've gone up to people that are strangers, and I saw something that resonated with me. And I like even older women are sitting there, and I could tell they were scared. And I just went over and I put my hand on their shoulder and I just talked to them.
Sweet. So I don't get it.
Really softly, and it's just it makes a difference. It's not. I don't know. I just
No,
find it's
no,
unfortunate in this day and age that we even have to have this conversation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
more of them needs to take place. I truly believe that.
And for the record, I can honestly say I've met some, like, I would say the older generation are a little more sideways, but not all.
Yes.
You
Not
understand what
all
I'm saying?
of them, yeah.
I've met some older ladies or older men who's, when you talk to them,
Yeah.
it's like, well, where the hell were you back then? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
or they grew up one way and figured out, oh no, this was wrong. You get what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And you can tell, and don't get me wrong, people can change and some don't.
Absolutely.
And that goes for my people too, because some of my people are fucked up and they're stuck in their ways, Joe. They are.
100%.
They're stuck in their
I've come
ways.
across a few.
You know?
Let's be honest, man. Remember, okay,
Yeah.
me and Bam go to Dominican for the first time together,
Okay.
and it's where we met some of our best Russian friends.
Yes.
You have
Okay.
to understand that every Russian movie here in Canada, they're villains.
Yes.
They're all mean.
They're wonderful people. The
They're
ones
amazing.
I met,
They're amazing.
down
But-
to earth and funny.
Exactly. They have no
Yeah.
sense of humor. They're cold
Yeah.
and they're villains. That's what we get
Yeah.
taught here in
Yeah.
the movies here.
Yes.
If you watch Die Hard, that's what you
Yeah.
get. All right?
Exactly.
So you watch
Yeah.
Rocky, that's what you get. So here we are. We're like,
So true.
but the best part is he stereotypes Bam, and that's how they start talking. When he walks over
How
to
did
Bam
he-
and
how did he
whispers in his
stereotype-
ear and asks him if
Okay.
he has any weed.
Yeah. Okay. Now.
Oh,
Yeah. Hold on. And it's funny because it's not. And the funny thing is, it's not just him. It's everybody. You understand? The same thing in Cuba. Yo, da da da. You want some weed? Da da da. And you want to know
That's
something?
right, yeah.
For the record, people, I don't smoke weed.
oh my
Okay?
goodness.
I don't smoke weed, but everywhere I go, I get asked if I want some weed. And I don't blame this on white people, Chinese people, this people. I blame it on my people, and I blame it on Bob Marley. Not saying I don't like Bob Marley, but I'm
I
just
love
saying
Bob
I blame.
Marley.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying I don't love. I love me
Yeah.
some Bob Marley, but
Little that
blame it on
ganja.
him. There you go. You see, when
You
you say Bob Marley, you Bob Marley and ganja are together. So that right there, so it's like I don't smoke. You know what I
gave
mean?
me a
I
slap.
don't smoke. I don't smoke either, but I love Bob Marley.
Yeah, no, I love me some Bob Marley, but I think me truly,
Stereotyping.
I think
Yeah.
that comes
That's what.
from
But you know what?
that.
Unfortunately, the stereotyping at this point
Yes.
made us great friends, like from 6 years ago. But it's just I hear a whisper in his ear. I don't really know what he says.
Yes.
Dan gives me the slap and goes, "This guy just fucking asked me." And I was like, dying laughing. And he's like, then he's all a bit embarrassed. He's like, I shouldn't have asked. I'm like, fuck, grab whoever, come sit over here, and we became good
No,
friends.
yeah,
We always
no,
go
no.
on vacation now. It's just
good.
funny how people meet, though.
How did
Stereo-
you two meet? Do you mind me asking? that?
Yes,
I'm curious.
I don't know. I know it was in 2000, either the beginning of 2005.
Oh wow.
It had to be 2005.
Okay.
Because the Import Night was 2005.
Yeah, 2005.
In the summer, late summer of 2005.
Right,
So it had to
so
be
it was-
earlier on
Okay.
that year.
It was
Yeah.
earlier that year.
Okay.
Yeah, earlier that year, I owned a music studio.
Yes.
It was the first time I ever owned something that I knew I shouldn't have owned it because I didn't know how to fucking do anything in it.
Oh, okay.
It was the first time I realized I didn't know how to do it. Just because you can hire an engineer, you
Yes.
can hire people, but you have to make sure you know how to do it too. Because if he decides to
Exactly.
tell you to go fuck yourself,
Yes.
you're technically fucked. But anyways,
Yes.
Bam shows up. He puts $500 on the table. He goes, "I want to buy a package or reduce the hourly rate." And he gives it
Okay.
to us, and we signed a little contract. And he
Yes.
came in every once in a while. I end up
Yeah.
closing the studio,
Okay.
but I owed Bam $200 still,
Okay.
and I had it.
Yes.
We weren't friends. We knew each other from the studio, and we tried to get a hold of each other. He finally comes and sees me, and I
Yes.
give him the money, and he's like, "You had every reason not to pay me. You closed your whole business, but you paid me." I'm like, "But that's your money. I didn't use it." You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And that's
exactly.
where our friendship starts
Well,
developing.
it
you know what
shows
I mean?
that you're a man of good character.
It's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
you
Yeah.
get it? You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can look into someone's eyes and know if they're
Yeah.
a person with good
Yeah.
character, good this,
Yeah.
good trait. And I was like, you know what? Boom. And every time I seen him,
Yes.
after that, we're running to each other in the club, and it's,
Yes.
round the shots for them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Here's
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
just became so much to the point where we're going round the shots back and forth so fucking much every time we see each other. People look, my
Yes.
friends are looking at me going, "You know him?" I go, "Yes." And his friends are going, "You know him?" "Oh, yes." And it's just a respect thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And ever since then, once we started hanging out, it was just like, You know, he's my brother. I traveled the world with this man, and I'm not worried about my back in any form or fashion. And you know what I mean?
This is a diversity that I'm talking about. This is how it should be. This is exactly how it should be. It's based on character. It's based, and you know, you two don't agree on a whole lot of stuff either. I'm just kind of watching. I watch some
we
of
argue
your
all the
shows,
time.
and I got a kick out of the two of you. But there's that element of respect, and I think that's a part I was saying earlier. When I meet somebody and they're really they're hard-headed and set in their ways and mouthy, and I get a kick out of them. I really get a kick out of listening to them, and I'm always curious what caused them to be that way. Like, what's behind there? What are you guarding? What's there that you're guarding, right? Because they have this whole this facade of something else that you know can't be what's underneath. And if it's what's underneath, well, so be it. That's fine too. Yeah. Like, it's okay. But I love what you two have, and I think that's what's needed all the way around. I mean, and that's what I say. You start at the grassroots. When you come together from the grassroots and you do that, and sometimes we start thinking that power comes from the top down. It really comes from the bottom up.
And that's why.
And this is where we are. We're at the bottom, but this is where the power comes. They can't have power without us.
No.
And so it's having these conversations. I think that's really important. Look, I identify as Native, right?
Absolutely.
You identify as Black. Joey, what do you identify as?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
That's right. But I will. This one guy came up to me. I remember when I was about 17 or 18, and he's Native, very, very strong Native features. And he said to me, he says, "Well, it goes, you're white, And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "I'm Micmac. I'm 100% standing there. I'm 100% Micmac." I said, "Really?" I said, "Okay, right now, if you had your DNA done, and it's stripped out of your DNA, anything that's not Micmac, would you be here today?" And he looked at me and he walked away.
Wow.
He never came to me and did that again. Like, we're good friends. We end up being really good friends. But he never ever did that to me. And the latest thing that was said to me was by my cousin. Oh my God. She says to me, she says, "Well, Moriah," she goes, you're not an apple." She says, "You have a good heart. You're not an apple." I said, "What does that mean?"
What the fuck?
Yeah.
And she says, "Well, an apple," she said, "is somebody on the red side and white on the inside."
Oh, wow.
And I never even heard of that before.
I've
And
heard
she
of
said,
new things today, man.
yeah. And she said, "Well," she says, you're red on the inside. You might be whiter on the outside." She goes, "But you're Native at heart." And I said, "I'm me at heart. And the reason why is because I chose to embrace the white part. I choose to embrace, and I'm part Russian too, by the way, to my DNA. And so I choose to
I think
embrace
Bam is too.
all the
not
different
Russian.
cultures.
No,
Yeah,
not
all the
Russian.
different cultures.
I'm English. I'm from Britain. I'm
Yeah,
Wales.
I am too.
I'm part Wales. Actually, I'm a little bit Native too.
Hey, Bam, you could be my brother.
How do people?
Actually,
you know,
Bam, you could be my kid's dad.
There you go. Bam, now we know we found your kids, man. We found your kids.
I got two kids, and you know, speaking about kids, I find the kids that's mixed, they got it a little harder than you know, you or me. You know what I mean? Because they got both sides to contend with. You get what I'm saying? And
I've been there. I've been raised that way.
You know, they got both sides to contend with, and I think they're in a good place where they can educate both sides. You get what I'm saying? By being that they can, you know, sit on both sides and be like, I hear where you coming from your side, and I hear where you coming from your side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, it's just they got to fight through the shit from both ends. You know what I mean? Because my daughter is fighting with my sister and her mother's sister. You get what I'm saying? So and it's two different fights. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's
do.
two different types of fights. So it's hard. Sometimes you call me, you got this, man. You good. You know, so.
But it'll build good character in her. She's going to be a strong woman. It's going to build good moral character. It's one of those things when you grow up, it's either going to kill you, it'll destroy you, or you can rise up and you can become stronger. I chose to become stronger. Yeah. And not only that, I think I must have loved the abuse, because it's like, hey, just, you know, have 3 black kids. Why not just keep it going? You know,
you hate me now?
Especially you think you hate me now. Wait till you see my babies.
Right.
You know, but it still has to do with education. It has to do with teaching children. And children, if you leave children alone, they don't even know. They're just beautiful, and they
figure
love
it out.
diversity. They figure it out and they love it. It only gets contaminated when they lose their innocence and they start listening to other people's opinions
right.
and things that are not always the best.
You know,
and it's unfortunate.
You know, and what my people, I
Yeah.
mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's, you know, we all black, but we're black different. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
you're right.
Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Africans, we all different. We got to
Exactly.
contend with ourselves and
Yes.
get used to our shit. You know what I mean? The same thing
Yes.
with white people. Yeah, you
Dude,
know, Russians.
I got a story for you about that. and I-
Denmark, and you know what I mean?
I believe
Everybody's
what
different.
Bam. I believe what
Yes.
you said. There was Darren that was born in Africa, right? Came here at the age of 8. There was an older fella that came from Haiti. Then there was another black guy they hired, and the Haitian guy goes to Darren and goes, "He's Canadian black," and shakes his head. And Darren's like, "What the fuck, man?" He was just like, "No, he's Canadian black," and just kept walking like, "No, he's not one of us." I just kept walking like, I was
Yeah.
like, it blew my mind.
Oh,
Like,
my
Yeah, it's
goodness.
just, you know, it's
Yeah.
it's weird because, like I said, I come to Canada now. You know, I talk to everybody, and I'm hanging out with a lot of people. And when I go home, it's, you sound like a white guy, right? You know, this is what they tell me. You know,
Yeah,
you sound like
yeah.
a white guy. I'm like,
I heard
so,
that before.
You know,
Yeah.
so what's the problem? You know,
Yeah.
but don't get it twisted. I'll fuck you up, nigga.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, I'm quick to call
Oh, my
motherfucker.
gosh.
And then they'll straighten it out. Yeah, all right, you got your ghetto card, go away. You know what I mean? Leave me be. But when they
Yes.
first started talking to me, it's because I'm not reciting what they're reciting. You get what I'm saying? I'm
Yes.
trying to make sure you understand what I'm trying to say to you. I'm not playing that,
Yes.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
This is what I mean right now. Leave it be. Let's go, whatever. But
Yeah.
I got a question for the both of you. Do you guys both love the fact that if you somehow convert them or make them believe that they're, you know what I mean? They come at you with a racist, chip on their shoulder, and once you're done talking and explaining, just being yourself, and them totally respecting you, does that feel so satisfying? 'Cause, Bam, I've seen you do it on resorts, man.
it's not about satisfying. It's just about
Yeah.
the fact that we all there. You get what I'm saying? We all
Yeah, but
there.
I've seen people's eyes. Day one, they're not really. They don't.
No, yeah,
really care.
Yeah.
And day 7, they're your best fucking friend.
Yeah, but you got to remember. You got to take into consideration, Joe. I'm 6'4", 255
Mm-hmm.
pounds. So whatever room I walk into, I'm going to get
You're
your
gonna
fucking
get- yeah,
attention.
absolutely.
You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep,
And
Yeah.
and usually I don't take offense to it because most people, it's out of there like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Or
Yes.
why is he here? I don't know which way they're going until
Yeah.
you talk to a person. And
Yeah.
the
Okay.
way they respond to you is then you can dictate on how you want to
enough.
deal with this person. You know what? I ain't in the mood for you today. I'm going to keep on moving on and, whatever the case may be. But, like I said, Willie's. You remember Willie's back in Gatineau? Okay.
Yep.
We used to go to Willie's. Oh, man. I asked the owner, I said, listen, can I rap?
Oh, that's
He
right.
goes, listen, I'm not a big fan of your people. This is what he tells me to my face. French guy. On Gatineau, I'm not a big fan of your people. And I go, why is that? He goes, I try to get you people to come to perform here. You're always fucking late, this and this and this, rapper shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can respect the fact that you actually looked me in my face and told me how you felt. You understand?
Yes.
I dig it. I understand what's going on. No problem.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit. He bought me a fucking beer. 20 minutes later. No. Seriously. He bought me a beer 20 minutes later.
Oh my goodness.
He's like, you want to go on? I go on. I do a little rap. Boom. By the end of the night,
Yes.
he's selling me cases of fucking beer when he ain't supposed to. You understand what I'm saying? And he's
Yeah.
like, I like you. You understand? Because we
Yes.
can sit and have a conversation about it. I didn't
Yes.
take offense to it because the reason why he's telling me this is because he went through something. You get what I'm saying?
He had an experience. Yeah.
There you go. You know what I mean? But you got a lot of people who've never actually had a bad experience
Yeah.
and just want to judge you for what it is.
Bam,
Exactly.
When I got
Yeah.
into promoting a nightclub, you knew the whole bullshit with the whole hat, and there's no. Right, there's like you can't put a logo on your
dress
pants.
code,
It's-
the
the
dress
dress code
code.
wasn't just wear dress pants and a nice shirt. It was like your pants can't even have some sort of like logo on. It went.
Oh, they were
too-
very strict.
Yeah,
Yes.
it went too far.
Okay.
So I remember when I
Okay.
negotiated like a contract with verbal contract with one of the club owners. I said, listen, we're gonna fuck off on the dress shoes, and I'm not
Yes.
gonna wear it, so I can't ask my people, like my friends, to wear them. And it was cool. Week 2, fucking club is dead. I'm like, what's going on? I look outside. A bunch of people. He's like, yeah, too many people are out of dress code. I'm like, but we had no technical dress code. He goes, I'd rather be broke than have 100 black guys in here. I said, is that so? Ask James. I said, is that so? I looked at James was DJing time. I said, I go like this. I got him to cut the music at 11:30, and we walked right the fuck out the club.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the end of that.
And this is the problem. You get what I'm saying? His mental state is, oh, got a bunch of black people. Listen, you got troublemakers no matter what you do.
Fuck
Yeah.
and man.
Yeah.
I used to go to the club and they'd be like, yo, you can't come in with the hat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can't come in with the hat. I go, why not? I go, the hat ain't gonna kill you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The hat ain't
It's a
gonna
hat.
kill you.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's gonna fucking kill you, and I do it in a fucking Armani suit. What's the fucking difference? You understand what I'm saying? You think because
true.
I'm
It's
dressed
true.
this way or I'm dressed that way, it's gonna change how I feel about fucking somebody
You know
up?
how
Doesn't
hard-
change that.
You know how hard it was to be as a bouncer and say, you got to throw that guy out. He put his hat back on. And I'm like, but he did absolutely nothing. I was like, I can't, man. I physically cannot ask someone to leave when the dude did nothing.
Doesn't
What
it
is that?
remind you, Joey, what's going on right now where they have these things and somebody's reporting her neighbor because they had their daughter and her grandkids at their house and the police show up and say, you have to leave because you're at a different address.
Yes.
They're like, but
The
it's
thing's
under
just-
my roof.
See,
It's like,
it's
like,
too much.
No,
It's
I
too
know,
much.
I know. I've
It's-
been a
it's
bouncer
some-
for 10 years, and I've kicked some people
Yeah.
out for some stuff that it's like really.
Yeah.
But the
You
thing is,
know?
like, I don't know. It was a good feeling to look at the club owner in the eyes and say, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want that in here." And we walked right out. We actually went to Bulldog, bam, and I
Yeah.
actually got hired as a promoter there that same night.
wow,
Oh,
I
that's
walked
crazy.
in. They were like, "Oh, aren't you back at that other club?" I said, "No." I walked out. They're like, "Oh, do you want to start working here?" And I was like, "It was just an amazing coincidence. Great feeling. Tell
Yeah.
someone to fucking shove it. It was great."
Yeah.
It's just weird when people in power and they just tend to do things and stuff like
The-
that. It's just,
Yeah. That's right.
it's
I
troublemaking,
agree with you.
know?
Mariah, the coolest thing about one of the shows that we do with our friends on the last
Yes.
Wednesday every night, if you actually look at all 5 of us, everyone's from a different country.
Oh, really?
Carm's from Italy. James is from Lebanon. Alex is
Okay.
from Chile. I'm from
Okay.
Canada. He's from the States. It's,
Oh
it's.
my
I
gosh.
want someone to talk shit on that episode and be like, nice try. You know what I mean? One funny story about being with so many people was one time I went to visit a friend of ours and they played soccer every Wednesday night. I'm not a big fan of soccer, but I go watch the game. We'd go have a couple beers afterwards.
Okay.
On the way out, some guy said something in some language, and one guy caught on and turned back and said, "What the fuck?" He's like, "Oh, I thought you guys were this." We're like, "There's one of everyone here. We know everything. What the fuck you guys are saying? Don't be a smart ass." You know?
Oh my gosh.
And-
Yeah.
And the best part about being, honestly, ever since I started traveling, I got a lot of friends
Yes.
around the world. So, Joe's not the one. Me, I'm more of a, what language are you speaking? You know what I mean? And,
Yes.
and just out of respect, I'm gonna try to learn your language.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So, now I speak a couple of languages and stuff like that. So
Oh, wow.
when people get
That's
to talking,
Whoa,
impressive.
and
whoa, whoa, whoa! Let's relax on what he says. A couple words of a couple languages. Come
like
on.
I said, I speak a couple languages. Let people talk some shit.
Yes.
You got my attention. You know what I mean? I could be sitting there with my wife, and my wife is white. Okay. God forbid a Spanish person say something wrong. You get what
yeah,
I'm saying?
she got
Yes.
it. She got it. Yeah.
Fluent. You understand?
Yes.
She's gonna look at me and go, "You say for this, then,
Yes.
So he speaks French. You know. So you got to be nowadays. You got to be very careful on what you say, how you say
It's
it, and when you
true.
say
That's
it
very
in your own
true.
language, because
There's
now
a
you
political
don't know.
correctness now. If you think you say something and you don't realize that you even offended anyone and you didn't
Well,
mean
now
to
it's worse
offend
than ever. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
worse. It's
but some
really
of these
bad.
guys that he's talking about are actually saying things.
on purpose.
to be
Yeah, they're just being
spiteful.
assholes. They're being assholes.
And that's when you shut
Yes.
them down real fucking quick. What? What's your problem?
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I said, most of the time when
Yeah.
you're on vacation, I find the people on vacation that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
They're fucked up because of where they from, what they do, but they're sitting around and they're not there to start trouble. So
Yeah.
they're more likely to listen to what you
Yeah.
got to say.
That's right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a different vibe for sure.
Yeah.
It's totally different. Sergey.
Yeah.
Couldn't understand the word this man
Yes.
says.
Yes.
I
yes.
watched this man one night. This is a true story.
This
We
is true
in the
story.
Dominican. This is a guy named
Yes.
Sergey.
Sergey.
Yeah, we call him Sergey.
Okay, I don't know his name.
His real name is Stranslov Prill, right?
Yes.
Because we're friends
Okay.
on Facebook now.
Okay.
Okay.
True.
And we call him Sergey all fucking night. We don't understand the word this man's saying.
He grunted at us.
Yeah, that's all. But I watched this man sit at the end of the table and stare down Joey all night long. Okay? No. The more they drank, the more they got to the stare down. You know, like the OK Corral, who's going to pull out the guns first.
Gosh.
And I'm laughing because they're not communicating, but for some reason, they just don't like each other. But
He doesn't like me.
Well, Joey go, Bam, I'm letting you know, man. You know, he starts. I'm
Because
like,
he's
whatever.
super aggressive.
You know.
Okay. Yes.
So we drank all fucking night to the point where this man we don't even know where his room is. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
We pretty much you in this building, we took him to the building.
No. We ditched him on a security guard. 'Cause I figured, fuck it.
Yeah,
The
I
security
forgot about
guard's going to
that.
bring him somewhere or somewhere, right?
Yes.
So the way to our room, there's a few paths, right? So we're
Yes.
walking for a while. Who pops up on the other side of the path? Sergey.
Oh.
We're like, oh my God. He's following us back to our room. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Like, we can't get rid of this guy, you know? And
Right.
I have a guilt of he's super drunk. I'm not going to let him just, you know what I mean?
He's
Yes.
by himself. Right.
Oh,
You
okay.
get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
Either way go, if it went sideways, it was a bad situation for him. You get what I'm saying? But whatever. Anyway, we're not on that type of deal. So
Never. Not of that.
he goes off and disappears, done. The next morning, would you believe me, I'll tell you, this man's on vacation with his wife and his sister and stuff like that.
No,
I'm
it was
sure
a couple days. Because I asked for him around. I said, "Does anybody see Sergey?" Because I was a bit worried. And the guys from Montreal goes,
That's right.
the guys are, this is how it is. The guys from Montreal said, "No, we haven't seen him." I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, maybe he left the next day. We couldn't communicate with him, right?"
Okay.
And I said,
Right,
so
right.
I turned around and I asked the French guys. They were there before us a few days, and I asked them, "Is his name Sergey?" No, they kept calling him Sergey, and I was like, "Is that really his name?" And they're like, "Well, we don't know. That's what you were fucking calling him." And I'm like, "Don't listen to me. I always have a nickname for someone over there, right?" So 2 days later, we caught him at the buffet with his wife. And, was it his wife and kids?
No, it was. I think it was a sister or something.
Okay, so
Okay.
he walks by us and he stares at me and he goes, he gives me the sign like drinks later.
Like we're drinking tonight.
I swear to God.
goodness.
And I said, yeah. And he looks at his wife and he pretends to give her the shoe, like I'll send her
Yes.
off. And he met me
Okay.
back at the bar. We never communicated, but we drank
all.
every single. So
I
last
had a
thing,
And he's
black
on
hat.
your Facebook now?
He's on my Facebook. I had a black hat like this.
Yes.
He took it home.
yeah, he took it,
Oh,
took pictures
wow.
with it, went
Oh
home.
my gosh.
Took it home.
He kept saying Facebook, and he grabbed my phone. He put us in Facebook. We couldn't believe the turnaround from night one to
That's
night.
isn't that
Turns out-
something?
Turns out,
Wow.
I think he's from Poland or
Yeah,
somewhere.
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah,
He's a cop.
yeah.
Oh.
Like
okay.
he's a high-end cop,
He's
wasn't
a
he? Like,
very
Yeah.
high-end cop, like an investigator,
Yeah.
high-end
He's
cop.
up there. Yeah.
He's up there, but he had a good
Yeah.
time, this and this and this. And it's weird because we have good times with all sorts of weird fucking people. You know
the
what I
cool
mean?
thing about
Wow.
the technology today, and Facebook happened to have it first, is the translation. Because he asked me one
that's
time.
nice.
Yeah, because he'd send me a message. I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I said, "See translator." And he'd be like, "Hey, you going back on vacation next year?" I was like, then I'd reply
Yes.
back, and then he'd get my. I was like, "This is fantastic!" Like,
Mm.
now
It
we're
is.
finally communicating now, right? So
Yes.
it-
It's not a grunt. It's not a grunt. He didn't
No.
size you up.
Mm.
Dude, what it was, we showed up kind of loud, and our tables
Yeah.
got bigger, and you can tell like he was just like,
Okay.
"Who the fuck are these guys?" I know what he was
Yes.
thinking. I
Yeah.
shut up. And then he
have a
was
good
forced to come sit with us, and you know,
Okay.
how you doing? You know, so it was kind of cool though.
We have good
But
times.
it's really interesting, isn't it, when you stop and think about how people have a preconceived idea,
Yes,
and it doesn't
100%.
matter what color you are, because we're talking, and we all went through those kind of
100%.
things. I there was a police officer I was walking when I was living in New Brunswick. I was living in Fredericton, and I was walking across this bridge on our way home, and this guy, he was creepy. Tried to get me to go under this bridge, and I told him I'm a police officer off duty, and I'm just off. I kind of lied to him.
Yeah.
Anyway, these police came, and I got to drive. this
I
girl.
thought you were going to say I got arrested for impersonating an
No,
officer.
no, I didn't. No, the police did come, and I actually
Yeah.
did. I waved them, and they gave me a drive home. But the woman, who's a female police officer, she said, "So are you working tonight at I don't know what the name of this place is, but it's a strip joint in Fredericton." I've never been in here in my life. I've never been to a strip joint, like to watch strippers. So I looked at her and said, "Excuse me?" And she says, "Well, you're a working girl, aren't you?" I said,
Oh,
"Not
my
working in that way. I worked at a crisis center for teenagers at the time."
Oh,
And
my.
and it was just this preconceived idea when people see you that you have to be a certain way or a certain thing, regardless of whatever. There's so many different ways we get judged every day of the week.
Yeah.
You know, and race is as much as it's about color. It's about everything. It's about where we are financially. It's about
That's true.
our clothing. It's about our music. It's about everything. Have you ever seen people that didn't like you because of your music? I mean, that it's like, why? Like, because you have a certain musical preference. It's just
Yeah. Trust me, the day I shaved my head, I
Yeah.
got looked at a lot. I was getting followed at Walmart.
I got followed too because I was naive and they thought I was stealing in the
Okay,
store.
Bam, do you think she was getting followed because she was stealing, or she got followed because they actually wanted to follow her because she's pretty? Be honest.
No, this
Probably.
is like these
Yeah.
two old women, unless they're dykes.
That's always a possibility.
Or is that politically incorrect?
This show's
by the way?
meant for it. Don't worry about it.
But anyhow, no, I remember going and these two old ladies following me down the aisle, up the aisle, and I turned around and I said, "Is there something that you want, or do you think I want something?"
Yes.
And they said, "Well, we know we can't trust you, kind."
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
We know we can't trust you. So I remember looking at makeup, and she stood there with her arms crossed in front of me, staring at me
Jesus
while I looked at
Christ.
makeup. And I put it down, and I said, "I'll just go to the store next door, and I'll give them my
Yeah, I'll give them
business."
my money.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and I left, and it's
Wha-
just like I said, you get it's unfortunate, but it happens. What's nice back home in Brunswick, for where I'm from, with the native, the French, and the English community, there's so much more generosity between the three. It seems when one suffers, the other two comes forward, and they show support. And now, like, they're marrying, they have children, so it's very difficult for native people who have a hate on for white or French people
Yeah.
to be hateful when they have a little blue-eyed, blonde-haired grandchild. And it's also hard for French or white people there to have hate-ons for native people when they have a little Mecmac or Maliseet or whoever it may be, native child looking up at them, and they're calling them, Giju, Migiju, or Granny, or whatever it may be. And it just really, and that's what I'm saying, like, diversity is magical, and I think it breaks a lot of barriers. And I realize even within each culture, there's barriers that exist there that we have to overcome, let alone try to take on whole different ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
we got
yeah.
our own to deal with, and we got to deal
Yes.
with this coming from this side, and that
Yeah.
coming from that side, and I
Yeah.
get it, and that's why
Yeah.
He's Mr. Anti-Canada right now. He's like, why do you live here in Canada? Go away. This fucking place sucks. But
Who says that?
Me.
Oh, you?
Oh,
Are
yeah,
you
him.
serious? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but-
I'm not too pro Canada right now either because of what's going on over there.
Thank you.
I find it's horrible. That's just my opinion.
What's so
just because
horrible
I
about it?
see,
Please tell me.
because what I see so horrible is that now there's enough data out there to collect. And if you read up on like in Canada, and the same thing with the States over the last 3 years, the rate of death has not gone up. In any true pandemic year, there's an incredible rise in the death rate. But miraculously, heart disease kind of disappeared, and so
Yes.
did diabetes, and so did the common flu that normally we have 60-some% per year that has a flu. Now it's down to 20-some% for whatever reason. But this went up and all that. And so it's like I said, power is from the top down. And then with me, what it does is it questions when something's done dishonestly and they're screwing up data, and it's scientific, it can be backed scientifically. What are they trying to do? So it makes
don't know
me
yet. It
not a
makes me-
conspiracy theorist, but it makes me question, like any
Yes.
intelligent person would, what the hell is going on here?
And
Because I don't believe in having people isolated away. Like any other flu season, when we had H1N1 or SARS or whatever it may be, those are very serious. I remember I was living in New Brunswick then, and in Moncton they just closed the hospital, they closed the nursing homes, and they said until this passes, and sometimes it took a month, but they let it have herd immunity. In other words, it went through wherever it made its way through, then they opened it back up again. This just that's the part with Canada. It's so strict. I find that if you, at the end of it, if you look at the people that have been impacted emotionally with anxiety, with the drug going up, the alcohol consumption going up, people chain smoking out of nerves, and depression, suicide rate that has 300% up higher or something like that in Canada or more. It's the things that have gone up. I think at the end of it, we're going to find out there are actually more victims of coronavirus from that than the actual virus itself.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Than the upper respiratory, infection.
100%. I agree.
I think that there's going to be so many other victims because of this other stuff. And I don't know, this is the first time throughout our history that I'm aware of that healthy people were actually locked up and made to stop work and to do things that are that they need to do. And another thing too, if I were in government and I was evil, in order to control the strong, the masses,
like that. See,
I would hold hostage to the elderly, and I'd hold hostage to children, because you can't move. You can't move, and that's exactly what they did, and then what they're doing. And I'm sorry, but it bothers me. I think you have to be safe. I think you have to be cautious with certain things, but at the same time, it just does not make sense.
I agree with everything you say there.
Yes.
And that's not even racist.
No, that's not racist. I agree with everything you say there.
I'm off topic. Sorry, Joey.
No, we love it.
Yeah.
My thing is, you know, everybody is giving their country a bad. Like you saying, Canada is acting up. I'm saying the States is acting up. You know, I find everybody's giving their countries a bad rap. But
I think we expect more from them. That's why, right?
But I always
I'm disappointed.
I always say it's not. You know, it's not the country. It's not Trudeau's fault. It's not Trump or Biden's fault. It's not this person's fault. It's the WHO's
and CDC.
Fault.
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody is pointing the blame to these guys because, like you said, SARS, this, that. You know what I'm saying? You know, let one case of Ebola break out in Africa, they shut down the whole fucking country. You understand what I'm saying? Why are they doing that when they wouldn't do it with this one? You get what I'm saying? So what they did was they let every country get fucked. You understand? No country was prepared for something like this. So everybody's trying to do their best with what they are getting from the WHO. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, and then it makes you question it. It really does.
And it makes you question your government, right? So now you're looking at it as, well, they could have been doing this, they could have been doing that. And it's like, you know what? The WHO is the one who fucked up. Why they even got such power in the fucking first place? You get what I'm saying? Like, really and truly, you know? But to be honest with you, this pandemic thing, I'm glad it happened because now a lot of countries are realizing that they too codependent on each other.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Because
that's an interesting perspective.
When anybody had PPE? Anybody had this? Anybody had that? No. Everybody had to get it from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, look at the vaccine scenario.
Yes.
Really and truly, only 3 countries relatively making these vaccines. When technically, you know, this country supposed to be able to make its own vaccine. I mean, shit, Canada created insulin for diabetics and gave it away for free, but there's a patent on it to the point where the people around the world can't get it for free. I don't understand that. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of things that should be going on in this country and that country and that country that should have been prepared. You could have been prepared for, we can make our own vaccines. We could do this. We could do that. But now we're so codependent on each other that it sucks because let the United States, I tell everybody, the United States is nothing but a fucking pocketbook. Okay? I'm sorry. It's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because I can ask you, anybody in the United States know how to make a pair of shoes or a television or anything of that sort? No, they don't. You get what I'm saying? Everything is outsourced everywhere else. But you know what the United States got is you put it on TV for 3 times a day for 2 weeks. I really need to get that, and I would spend my 2 part-time job money to buy it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't fall under that. I believe in with my dream right now. What I'd like to do, I'd like to live off the grid somewhere, buy a lake somewhere I can go fishing, and then just kind of have my own garden, do my own thing. And we are dependent to a certain extent on the outside world and stuff. But even in Canada, in the States, I believe in Alaska, they went and put a time limit on now for a generation. This is the last generation that is actually allowed to have like a cabin in the woods. After that's done, the government's taking it back. And I know that's what they're doing with Alaska. Yeah. And in Canada, too, there's some places where they're making it illegal to live off the grid. So
it's always been illegal to live off the grid. Nobody can't live off the grid. You have to have one source of power from the government in your house.
I know people who live off the grid and they have no source of power from them in their house.
Because
I know
they're hiding. Yeah. They're hiding. You understand what I'm saying? They're literally hiding.
Well, NB Power, New Brunswick Power, the people that I know that live off the grid there, they approached them several times over and asked to buy their power. They asked so there's some kind of contractual, I think that's what you're talking about, Bam. There's some kind of contractual thing between the two. So they asked if they could purchase some of their power. But I know a few, they actually live 100% off the grid. The only thing
And
that
that-
they pay for is their cell phone.
And to be honest with you, I don't understand why I can't live off the grid if I don't want to. Because before they created power, people was living off the grid, literally.
Everyone was.
You know what I'm
And do you
saying?
think there was a big deal if the power went out? Like,
No.
seriously,
many
you
people-
went with a. It's just crazy.
Do you know how many people are screwed? But
Mm-hmm.
now you got to think about New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, and over
Yes.
here it's more woods. So a lot of people here,
Yes.
their source of heat is electricity
Yeah.
and wood stove. A lot of people have a lot of wood stoves here. So
Yes.
if the power goes out, a lot of people are going to be fucking warm regardless of the
Mm-hmm.
heat.
Yeah.
You get
That's
what I'm
right.
saying?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and that's a little bit of the old school thing, which
That's
I
good,
admire.
though.
I
I like that.
admire it, but it's a lot of fucking work. They say,
It is.
wood stove, you
Yeah.
heat yourself up 3 times with a wood stove. 1 by cutting it down, 2 by chopping it up, and 3 by putting it in, and 3 by putting it in there. You know what I mean? So if you think about it, you're fucking warm all the way around the board,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
4 by cleaning up after. There's,
True enough.
I grew up with when I was small, like we were poor and we didn't have electricity in the house. We didn't have running water, so we had a bucket in the house. We had an outhouse. We had a wood stove and kerosene lanterns.
Oh yeah.
And and brought, I remember going to school and I remember smelling really smoky. I smelled like a wood stove. But I mean, it's just it humbles you, and on top of that, it also teaches you. I think when you come from whatever background you do, and you suffer some, it gives you resilience. It helps you to read into people a lot better, and even in some situations wherever people are panicking, you're all like, oh my god, you've been there so many times. You look at it and say, it's just one more thing.
That's
And
true.
you just kind
That's
of
true.
you keep moving on, you keep doing your thing, right?
Yeah.
Regardless if it's people, situations, whatever it may be, it's just life.
That power outage we had in Ottawa that year.
Yeah.
The power went out for like 3-4 days.
3-4 days.
Yeah.
People was freaking out. Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
No.
What the fuck am I gonna do?
I'm gonna tell you why I was freaking out. The first day we lost power,
Yes.
I went downstairs to get some glass of water, and I stepped in puppy dog shit in between my toes, and I didn't know where the shit was. You understand now? And I'm hopping around. Hopefully, I don't hop in it again. But smushing it enhanced the smell, which I got a weak stomach. So I'm gagging, hopping, smashing into things, still trying to flick the light switch that's not working. All right? And now I got 1 foot in the sink, still not thinking about water. Now I got to know that, oh my God, I got to get a flashlight and clean up the smear that's there. That's what I didn't like about no power that day,
my
right?
God.
But a lot
That's
of,
hilarious.
A lot
Yes.
of people was freaking out. They were
Yeah.
just losing their fucking mind. Everything
They weren't
down, everything was
prepared.
closed.
They're not
It
prepared.
wasn't even they wasn't prepared. They was prepared mentally. They wasn't prepared because
Yes.
they didn't think it through. You know,
Yes.
I'm sitting there
Yeah.
with 3 people and they like, yo.
Where were
fuck-
you at that time?
I was
man?
in Ottawa. I was in Ottawa.
Okay.
I was on Walkley, not Walkley, Heron. I was on Heron, way down by across from Algonquin College, and everybody.
Rob's near Rob's place?
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
And everybody's just freaking out.
Yeah.
I'm hungry, I'm this, I'm that. And I'm looking, I'm like, really? Why are you hungry? Why you worrying about eating? It's not
What
a
do you
big
mean,
deal. Well, they worried about how we gonna eat. How we gonna eat? We can't cook. We can't this. We can't that.
Yeah, I guess so.
I
It was
look at him,
barbecue season.
I look at him and go, the barbecue's right there.
Yeah.
Turn the fucking thing on. Fry up something and eat something and chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's only day 1. You're fucking spazzing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By day 3, you got to worry about starting the fire. Chill the fuck out. You
Yeah,
know what I
we
mean?
we were in the music studio when it went out. Like
Oh.
when it
Oh.
went out. So Rob's in the music studio. We're about to pay. It's at Fat Dog Productions on Hunt Club. Eh? Remember that band with the house? Okay.
Yeah.
So the power goes out, and the guy's like, "Huh, interesting." So he plays around with his power switch because he has a lot of shit plugged in. I'm like, "Yo,
Yeah.
go press a breaker or something. Let's go. Let's get this going." He's like, "It can't be the breaker." And he's looking. I'm like, "Come on, buddy, man. Let's go, man. It's like $80 an hour. Let's get your shit together." I'm giving the guy shit, right? So then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to the pub next door, have a couple beers. Call me when you have your shit together. And I go to the pub next door, and they had no power. I'm like, huh, interesting. So we get into Rob's car and go to his mom's house down the street. She has a swimming pool. And she has no power. And that's when the radio goes on. And, oh, they want Eastern work. Yeah, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't have been so rough on the guy at the studio now.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Figure this out.
Every country is dependent on each other. And don't get me wrong, it's nice to trade and stuff like that. Because there's some things that can't grow here, that can grow there and stuff like that.
That's
I
so
get it.
true.
But,
Yeah.
but for the most part, you're supposed to be able to, sustain your.
Well, it's a
country.
reality check for sure, right?
You know what I mean? And that's what
Yes.
it is. It's a big time reality check. And a
Yeah.
lot of people
I
going,
believe you.
you know, and America's probably going, whoa, fuck, we need to bring jobs back. We need this and then that. You get what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
what made America was so great is because everybody came from everywhere else with these
Yes.
different trade skills. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean?
Yes.
You had a guy came from Italy who know how to make some Italian loafers. You get what I'm
Yes.
saying? He knew how to make this. You know, you got tailors from
Yes.
here,
Stuff,
from
yeah,
England.
engineers,
Yes.
You know what I mean? And but they just like, oh well, fuck it. We, you know, people got greedy. You know.
Yeah.
But it really and truly, no, I'm sorry. I take that back because people didn't get greedy. The government got
The
greedy.
government
course,
got
that's
greedy.
what it breaks
They
down
found
to.
a way. They found a way
The
to
government got greedy.
overlord and to take away because
The government got greedy
yeah,
because they
100%.
raised the price of living. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
made the people have to ask for more to be able to live.
That's
and
right.
Exactly.
people who was providing the service were like, I can't afford you and give
Yeah.
these clowns this much money, give you this much
Yeah.
money, leaves me with nothing. So they pretty much kicked the bucket down to the business
True
owners.
enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what they did with this pandemic thing again. They kicked it down
Yes.
to the business owners. You get
That
what I'm
is
saying?
so true.
You
Yeah.
know, they're trying
Yeah.
to do their best, but you know, the small business
Yeah.
owners are the ones that's getting jammed up big time. But they don't realize, you know, the small business owners are always going to make it because I don't have a building to sell my stuff. My living
Yeah.
room is just as good. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You want to buy
Yeah.
some food? I open my fucking window and sell it out the fucking window. You get what I'm saying? You always
Shipping now and
you,
stuff,
you,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're always going to make it. So they're going to bounce back. It's just going to take them a little while, but they can't control it. You see what I'm
I
saying?
believe you. Yeah.
So Moriah, so
Yes.
I want to know these little details. So how long ago did you move to the States? Not back to the States, but move to the
It's
States.
just over 6 years.
Already, huh?
Yeah, we were living at the time. We were living out in northern BC in a little
Right.
In the middle of the mountains called Tumbler Ridge. It's a beautiful little place. It's almost like a resort.
Should've stayed.
In the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
No. and we wanted to move to Arizona anyhow, like retire and move here. And we said, well, why don't we just take off and go early and look for a job and stuff. So my husband got a job with a company here, and he does well with it. And so we're still here. My problem right now is like I have one son, my youngest is 23. He lives here with us.
Okay.
But the rest of my kids are all in Canada. My grandkids are all in Canada. I miss my grandbabies.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they're growing up, and I see them on video chat. But I'm not there, and I'm the type when I go home.
yeah.
Mom does the cooking. I do all the cooking. I take care of the babies. I do
Yeah.
all the stuff, and it's like you guys get out and play. Like to my kids, it's like I'm here. You guys go. You want to take a break? You want to go away overnight or a weekend? Just whatever it is, go.
Grandma
I'll
of the
take
year
care.
over here.
Yeah, grandma's here. You guys take off, and then.
Right.
And I just do a lot of cooking and just spend time with the kids. It's all based on children. And to me, that I feel that's the reason I was born was to be a grandmom, you know, to have kids and to just to have that. It's such a beautiful experience. And with the border the way it is, we want to go home for June, July, and August to be there for 3 months. Last year we couldn't go because of the pandemic. So this year we're hoping we're going to apply to the border and see if we can go. We have an RV. So if you're
Nice.
worried about where we're going to isolate, we can isolate inside the RV for
Very
2
true.
weeks.
I like that.
Can stock up and everything. I mean, there should not be a reason why we can't cross.
Well,
Yeah.
my
And I want to
question-
cross in on the main border, you know, from Maine over to Fredericton side, you know, that area. Yeah.
Oh, so you want to go across Holton or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you Canadian,
Yes.
Canadian citizen. Your
Yeah.
husband Canadian citizen?
Yeah. He's both.
Yeah. Well, then
Yeah.
you got no problem because I can cross back and forth without a problem. They won't give me no crap. You get what I'm saying?
As long as you isolate, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there was someone just recently that tried to go across, and he owns property there, and he's dual citizenship. He lives in Boston, and he tried to go in, and they wouldn't let him in.
No, well,
At all.
At
At all.
He said the wrong thing.
I
You
don't
know.
know
said
what he
the
said,
wrong
but
thing.
He said the wrong
I-
thing.
He coughed.
I think there must be a way to get across to visit
Yes,
and stuff.
when
and
you go to the
what
border,
they-
When you go to the border, where'd she go? We lost her again.
So close.
I know, right? She'll be back.
Yeah, I think you're right though, Bam.
Yeah,
I'll
you
go
know,
back
when
and
you
forth.
when you get to the border, instead of saying I'm coming from, you know, when you get to the border, just say I'm going home. That's it.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
You know, you don't have to be like I live here and and I'm going up to visit. Nope, I'm going home. You know what I mean? Because they can't stop you legally. They can't stop you. You know what I mean?
It'd be cool if you go back home. No, I can see that. I know how much you'd miss your
Yeah.
family. That'd be awesome though.
Yeah.
And
When you get to the border, just say I'm going home. Don't be like
Yeah.
I live in Arizona. That nope. Don't say it because you
Yeah,
do
but-
that raises questions.
Yeah, when they ask for your ID and all that, it's all Arizona. Like the address and everything is it's Arizona.
But
So
you're a Canadian citizen.
they're not supposed to be able to refuse any citizen of any country away from the country.
There you go.
They're-
So
it seems like for whatever reason they're able to do that now. We're hoping that it won't be that way this time.
oh, here's my Canadian passport. I'm going
Yep.
home. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
That's
no,
it.
Absolutely.
That's good advice, Bam.
Don't
Guys,
need to show
listen,
nothing
I'm
else.
right
Yes.
down to like 10% on my phone.
awesome.
And
All right.
I might be kind of skipping out there because it's,
No
it's really
worries.
low.
Moriah,
Yeah.
thank you so much for taking
Yes,
time and
yes.
talking about some
Oh,
of your
I
stories and
loved
stuff.
it.
Oh, yeah.
Loved
It's
it.
great.
Both Bam, you're an amazing human being. Honest
You
to God,
too,
if
you
somebody
too.
meets you and they don't love you, something's wrong with their head.
I don't know, you know.
And
Yeah.
enjoy. It's always great to spend time
Always
with you, my
a
dear.
pleasure.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
Have
Yeah.
yourself a good
I
night,
know.
and hopefully
Okay.
we'll get you on again sometime. Bye.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.
All right, good night.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Nah, man, that's I've known her for a while, and you know what I mean. I always find these podcasts. You always get to know them just a
More,
little
yeah,
deeper.
yeah.
It's funny, you know what I mean. I had Adam Cregan on here. We were talking about him going down to Florida and coming back to Canada and this and that. I was like, damn, there's parts of your life I had no fucking idea about. You know what I mean?
True.
And this is what's great about the podcast. And you know what I mean? I've seen her. She's always been pleasant. She's
Good.
always been beautiful, like
Oh, yeah.
sweet. And then you find out that she got treated a certain way and that your mind's about to explode. You're like, what? That actually happens, man? Like, it's
Well,
incredible,
it
man.
does,
Alex, thank you,
it
brother.
does. Yeah, you know, it does. You know, like I said, she's got a good view on how, and she's right.
Absolutely.
It needs to start at home, you know. But like I said, when certain people's in certain positions in life, they tend to not try
Yes.
to bring that diversity. They're just too busy trying to focus on.
You're right. You're right. No, good points. Always great debates, man.
Oh
And
yeah,
it was
love it. It's a nice time.
definitely always a good time.
I learned
but-
a lot. You know, I learned the way she looks at it. You know, like she said, the government is trying to hold the elderly hostage and the kids hostage.
That's the way it works,
interesting.
man.
You know,
That's the way it works, man. I remember one time when COVID first started, man. I'm like, I'm gonna go out and visit my friend. They're like, you don't care about your family, don't care about your. You know what I mean? They're just like, they're trying to pick at you, be like, you might be healthy, but they might not be. And I was like, holy fuck, man, this is mean.
I don't know. You know,
fucking
like I said, you know, it's just a matter of, you know what, this is what it is. Just, you know, here we
Yeah,
go.
absolutely,
Let's ride it out and be done with it. You know,
True
what I
enough,
mean?
man.
Because-
So Friday night, I have Tora back on. She has a new hit single called "Listen."
listen, okay.
High tempo. I was waiting for that. She gave me some of the store stuff with her playing piano. I like it, but you know me as a DJ, you have to give me more of that fire. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she gave me one of those tracks, and then I said, "Oh, great track." She's like, "Oh, when we coming back on?" So I'm definitely getting her back on Friday. Probably have a couple drinks with her in the air and go from there.
Yeah.
But bam, if you're ever bored, you can always find me or call in and tell me how long I am.
You
You know
know
what I mean? It is what
You know,
it is.
I like to poke my head in once in a while. Come here, cat.
Come here, cat. By the way, there's a cat there, just in case you listen to this on audio.
Yeah, every time people, when you see me looking around, it's because my cats are.
Well, sometimes they're listening to us on Spotify, so you got to overlook.
Oh, this is true. This is true. This is true.
There was a story you mentioned earlier. You weren't really well detailed, and I was gonna step in, but I was like, fuck it.
Yes, that's right. I got to remember that. I'm sorry.
Always
My bad.
remember that people are not looking at our beautiful faces; that they're actually listening to us, and we're killing their ears. You know.
All right.
All right, brother. Anyways,
right.
if I don't hear from you on Friday, man, I'm definitely gonna catch you on Monday, my brother.
Yes, for sure.
All right, peace, man.
Peace.
Later.